Hello again, dear friends, colleagues, students and singers. I get a lot of similar questions by email from different singers, by my students, and so I think that I will just put it all together and will try to answer some of these fundamental questions as I see it in the form of vocal tips. So I want to talk about the resonance. Many times I get all different kind of questions about how to put the resonance, how to feel the resonance, how to react in different halls and rooms, and how to find this resonance. So generally it's important to understand what is resonance. It's responsible not only for carrying and not only for the volume, but also for the spectrum and the color and the characteristic of the voice, that by some will be translated as beautiful, not beautiful, dark, light, and so on. That all is formed partially by the resonance at the end. So following this, we can say that the resonance is a result of what we're doing. And I will repeat as always that my vocal tips are mostly for professional singers who already have at least the basic singing technique and understand what I'm talking about. But generally, resonance, of course, in singing is a result of right technique, respiration, larynx position, tongue position, and so on. And all these things we can manipulate and create the right balance of all of them working together. That's the responsibility of a good teacher to do, because he is guiding, he is listening, basically to learn how to drive your voice and how to navigate yourself. But what I want to say here, what I want to talk about is the internal physical feeling of the resonance. That's very important to understand. Resonance, on the one side, as I said, is a side effect of all the correct navigation things and physical work that we're doing. But it also creates inside of us the feeling of how it should feel subconsciously on each note, basically on each height of the tone. And this internal feeling that we develop is actually a very important tool to not just sing correctly, but survive in halls and rooms with bad acoustics, dry rooms. It's very important always to keep it in mind, to remember this internal feeling and to repeatedly go back to that and a bit of kind of gargling this feeling all the time. I don't believe in all kind of feel your resonance here, feel it here. It's very individual, and your teacher or your guide may feel it right here on certain note, but you will feel it here, and you both do basically the same. And if he will insist that you feel it here, you will basically be trained wrong, because you were trying to do something which doesn't fit your own body structure. I used to demonstrate to my students, especially at the beginning, if we talk about the facial resonance, I use my dear friend who is a singer, he doesn't know about it, but I will show you just few things. First of all, this, when we're talking about all kind of locked jaw, all kind of all of these positions, we remove it. This thing doesn't resonate. This thing should be just freely dropped, naturally freely dropped, not too close, not too open. And we're basically talking now only about this part. And if we just physically take our finger, because again, to explain it to you, here is my, let's say, my vocal cords. If I do that, even very strong, you hear nothing. If I take the same amount of energy and I do this, we're hearing 100 times more sound. And if I do it here, we're going to have a different sound. And if I do it here, it's less, but it's totally different color. So that means that by manipulating some things here, we can take our individual, because everyone is individual, our individual resonance, which we can check. Where is it? Here we feel it very strong. Here we feel it strong. Here, less here. Okay, so we can really see the parts. Obviously there is a brain inside, but still, right? Because what's vibrating is the bonds, is the empty spaces. And so, in our case, this is partially like on the backside of the piano, the sound box, right? And so, if we take it as an example, we are learning how to navigate the whole system, that triangle I'm talking about. That's very important. Check out the video about what I would call the classical or the basic triangle of the singing system. So, watching this video, if you know what I mean, if we take this triangle, that exactly works on how to manipulate this resonance. But as a side effect, we're getting the feeling, the correct feeling of it. And we can then use the feeling to keep it running, because we cannot sing and think about, where do I put my voice? This, obviously, we're not busy with that. We're doing music. That will help you automatically to get and to maintain the right configuration, let's say, the right navigation of your body to get the maximum out of your resonance in the whole spectrum, and even a bit playing with the color of the voice. I will give you an example. If I don't even think about all this technique, if I take a major chord and I just go, let's say I'm not technically trained, and then just go, oh, this voice is not resonating. It has some resonance. If I try to push it more on the same configuration, or whatever we play around, it will just create a lot of work on the vocal cords, and it will not hit the resonance that I already have in my body, in my bones system. And so, being guided by the right internal feeling helps you to maintain it. And it's really like a turn on the light. It's switch on the light. I can put my finger on the moment the configuration is there, it's happening. If I do, oppa, I don't know if you hear it through the phone, but it's like boom, it's like an explosion of voice, which requires less work, less physical work for me. But the difference between how I'm getting there, I almost do nothing. The difference inside is like a millimeter, which makes, as a result, a huge difference by the voice. And every place the resonance is a bit different. So if I take myself as an example, and I subjectively have to say, where do I feel it? I would say that, I feel it right here and here. If I go from here, here I already feel it less here, but more here. Here I feel it back on the sides, right? So it's the result. It's exactly this tiny difference that make the light to switch on, really from off to on. And then I can put my finger on where do I feel it. Now, I don't put it there. It's not about putting the voice in the mask. It's not about it. Because if I try to put something there, I automatically will create a muscle pressure, okay, with this, I can try to do it. I can even sing like this, but it's going to be artificial. And it's going to be a lot of work, and it's not going to be this Italian flying supported nice sound. The way is the opposite. It's complete freedom. I do nothing with my face. I kind of internally navigated looking just for the feeling. And when I get this feeling of the resonance is the result. The sensation is like almost doing nothing and getting everything. Because it should be comfortable to sing. It's very important. If you feel uncomfortable to sing, you're doing something wrong. Okay? And if I go even higher, I feel it right here, All the time I feel it also in my chest, but I feel it right here. And I can put my finger on it. Here, I'm a tenor. For me, it's very, very, very low, so I almost feel nothing here, and I feel it actually very strong here. So by practicing and practicing and practicing and working correctly with a good teacher on it, you are building some kind of scale, some kind of table inside your subconsciousness of which resonance fits every note, and you're basically juggling, you're playing with it. It's like riding the bicycle. You don't think of having the balance, you just have the balance. But what you're actually doing, you're always maintaining this balance with micro movements. The same here. By first creating, training and creating, recognizing, remembering, what we call muscle memory, remembering the exact internal sensation of your resonance, you basically get the instrument to work with. You can navigate it, and you can create the right configuration to sing everything that your voice is basically capable to sing. A very, very vital, important, practical usage of it. And why is it actually necessary to really develop this internal physical vibration feeling is the different spaces where we have to sing as opera singers. So if you sing in a good acoustics hall, you have a good response, you send your voice, you have a good response, you're good. Then suddenly tomorrow you have a concert in a bad, dry acoustic hall. And your body basically shocked because you don't hear any response, you're singing. Yesterday was comfortable, now your body doesn't understand what's going on. And many singers start trying to listen to themselves to get this response, so they have the feeling the voice is not strong enough, they start pushing, looking for that, and usually it leads to very sad consequences of tiredness of the voice, of extra usage of the voice. And the opposite, in a very wet hall with a lot of reverberation, the singer can be misled. He will hear so much echo around coming back to him that he will not give enough voice, will not give his proper configuration of the voice, and he will think everything is fine, while in reality he kind of gave up and not really singing enough. The only tool to prevent this all and to be able to professionally sing in every hall is exactly that internal feeling of the resonance. We should not listen to the acoustic. We should feel inside. And once we have this scale to feel inside, it doesn't matter. I get to a hall, yes, the hall is uncomfortable, yes, it's dry, yes, it's super wet, whatever it is. In the first moment you think, not fun to sing here. But right next to it, you start looking inside, your brain understands the configuration, and you just sing. And you sing correctly, and no matter what's happening around, you're singing here based only on your internal feelings. So, as a summary, the resonance is a physical feeling that we can feel. It feels quite different and develops in different notes, but each tone, each pitch has its own individual feeling for each singer, which is different from singer to singer. So teaching somebody or learning like feel it here, feel it there is not correct. It would be theoretically correct only if your teacher and you have very similar structure and you feel basically the same. That's, by the way, explains cases when you have a teacher with 9 students who barely can sing after studying with him 2, 3, 4 years, and just one who is really good. My explanation to that is exactly that. They are just very similar, and when the teacher says, feel this one here, the students really will feel it here, and he can kind of copy-paste what the teacher does. But that's not a real singing technique. And so, developing this internal feeling is going to be a vital tool for you to sing in any room, in any condition, keeping the measurement of the right configuration of the voice, which will lead to volume, color, less tiredness, less fatigue of the voice, and will keep it fresh and will let you sing whatever your voice is capable to sing physically. For more vocal tips, please subscribe to my channel. I have Instagram, I have Facebook group, and of course mainly YouTube. And see you in the next vocal tips. Ciao!